What's going on? Travis here, coming at you, trainaggressive.com, forgeathlete.com, and what I'm about to go over here is the Big 5 mobility movements. These are movements that you can use daily to help improve your ability to move. What they're going to focus in on are a couple of different key areas. Shoulders, all right? One of the things I see a lot with people is very immobile shoulders. And the drill that we do to help improve your mobility with that is going to loosen those up so we can press better. So full range of motion overhead. You should be able to put both arms over your head through your arms like so, with relative ease, okay? A lot of people are so tight, they can only get their arms straight up over your head here, or if they do, they're so tight, their elbows are still bent, all right? So we're gonna fix that problem a little bit. Other movements that we're gonna target in on, hips, okay? When we open up the hips, gonna help solve a lot of different issues. So number one, low back pain. If you wake up in the mornings, got a stiff, tight lower back because you sit a lot during the day, what we're doing is trying to open up the hips. So targeting in on the hip flexors, whole hip joint, okay, getting that loosened up, loosen up the hamstrings a little bit, and open that stuff up so we can squat better, lunge better, and just feel better overall. So we're going to be targeting on the hips. And then another area on the ankles, okay? So ankle flexibility. It's going to help with knee issues, because if you think about it, your knee is right in between your hip and your ankles, okay? So your knee can only move wherever the hips allow and wherever the ankles allow. So when you have tight ankles, it can sometimes cause different knee problems. People think it's their knees. Usually it's either the ankle or the hip. All right, so with that, first little drill we're going to do, big lunge mobility. So what you're going to do is start with both feet together, take a big lunge step back, drop down on your back knee, both hands are coming inside of that front foot. Okay, notice my elbow here is pushing that knee out. I'm going to take my hand, put it on top of my foot here, because I don't want my foot to pop up. We're getting a little bit of ankle mobility work in here by holding the foot down, and I'm just going to rotate in and out, working that hip joint. So my chest is up, holding that foot down, pushing the knee out, and I'm just rotating. So we can do all kinds of stuff here. We can go elbow to instep, work a little bit mobility there. Big chest, I can rotate away, I can rotate towards the hip, and then I can even add in a little bit of mobility work. So what I'm going to do here is pop up through my heel, stretch that hammy a little bit, and then I can come back down and hit that hip movement, okay? So I'll show you from the side here. So a big mistake I see people make is this right here. So this isn't the big lunge. This is like a hybrid between like hip flexor and lunge. It's not hitting the mobility that we want. So we want to really stretch that back leg back, open up the hip. Now I'm rotating, hitting that big lunge mobility right there. Okay. Again, pushing the knee out, holding the foot down. Very important that we do that. So that's the first one that I want you to focus in on. Second one, very similar. We start in a taller position. Notice my foot is going to be in front of the knee. Knees a little bit behind my ankle. I'm nice and tall at the chest. Now I'm not arching back. I'm going to stay tight in the core. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roll forward, squeezing my butt on this side, pushing that hip forward. I'm really getting a big hip flexor stretch right here. So I'm going to hold the bottom of that stretch for a couple of seconds. Then I'm going to back off. I'll shake it out. Then I'm going to roll back into it. Real tight, pushing that hip forward. It should feel like that hip flexor is just going to come straight off the bone there. Okay? We're getting a really good stretch right there. So you're going to do this 3 to 5 times. Just rolling forward, squeezing the butt, getting a good stretch for a good 5 count, and then back off, shake off. Every time we roll forward, we want to get a little bit bigger stretch. All right, so that's your hip flexor. That's the second movement. Third movement, we're going to hit a shoulder dislocator. Okay, you can do this with a piece of PVC pipe, or get yourself a band. So exercise band, which I would recommend using first, because the band is obviously going to stretch. This is a little bit thicker band, so if you're just starting off, you'd want a little bit thinner band, give you more range of motion, mobility. But what you're going to do, grab it like so, elbows locked out. You're going to come straight up and over the head, all the way to the butt. Okay, all the way back over. That's 1 rep. You're going to do that at least 15 times, if not 20. Okay, So we're just coming over the top, keeping the elbows locked out. You're going to feel that stretch right in the pecs, the lats, and you're going to feel a lot of gunk in those shoulders. Okay, those shoulders get really tight over time, so you're going to have to work through it. Let me tell you this, when I first started doing this drill, I can get to about right here, and I had to stop because I didn't have the range of motion that you need, okay? So if that's you, what you're going to do, you're going to come over the top. Right arm is going to be close to the head, left arm will be out to the side, and then it will pass through so we can get full range of motion. And then we're going to come back over the top, other arm close, and then we're going to pass it back through. Other arm here, over the top, and then I'm going to come back this way. And that's if you're really lacking on range of motion. Another drill you can do, go to that point at which you can't go anymore, and then you're going to go left to right. You're just going to pull with the left arm, stretch the right side a little bit, pull the right arm, stretch the left side a little bit. You're going to feel stretched, you might feel a little bit of discomfort, but you never want to go through pain. All right, you're going to feel discomfort, but if you feel like pain, like you should know the difference, stop there and just try to work the range of motion that you can. If you have a PVC pipe, okay, you can get these at any hardware store, very, very cheap. You'll just do the same thing. So start with a wider grip on the PVC pipe, pass through, up and over the top. We can do the same thing if we need to, if we've got really tight shoulders. So I'm just loosening it up. Daily mobility. This is something that you have to do every single day. It's not going to improve just over a few times. So you got to be very, very consistent with it. Every day type thing. So that's your third movement, shoulder dislocators. Okay? Next one. For this, you're going to need a band. I'd recommend you have a band. We're going to go rack stretch. Okay, what this is going to stretch out, tight triceps, tight lats, tight shoulders. So deltoids, traps, tight pecs. Okay, the reason we do this movement here is for front rack position. So front squats, any type of barbell movement that we're doing, catching the bar here, kettlebell movements, okay? Pressing movements, getting the arms in a good position to press, okay? So that's why it's key we work this movement. So what you're going to do, you're going to take a band, you're going to step on the band, grab it with both hands, elbow goes underneath, and now we're in that position, okay? So I'm pointing my elbow up, rotating in and out. Again, this isn't a stretch where I'm just going to hold it. I'm constantly moving, mobilizing. Okay, coming in and out, rotating. Now, if we're using a band, very, very critical that when you get out of the band, you first bend your knee, release the tension on the band, and then go ahead and get out. Okay, that's very, very important. We don't want to get out of the band. We never want to get in a position like this, where our shoulder externally rotated. That's very, very bad position to be in. Okay, it could hurt your shoulder. So that's the last thing we want to do. Always release the tension, then go ahead and get out. Okay? If we don't have a band, you can do the same movement on a wall. What you're going to do, put your elbow on the wall, and then you're going to lean into it and stretch it. And just rotate it in and out. Your goal should be to try to flatten your body out. So my whole side of my body here, boom, I'm trying to touch my hip to the wall, stretching that arm. Okay, so again, I'm moving around, forward, backwards, stretching. Okay, mobilizing that shoulder. That is the fourth one. So rack stretching. This right here. Okay. Fifth and final movement is going to be a wall sit. Okay, so what you want to work with this is the bottom part of your squat. Okay, so it's very key that we have our feet set up in a good squat position. So we don't want to be super wide. We don't want to be super close either. We want to be about shoulder width apart, right where your feet should be for a regular squat. A little bit off the wall. Make sure you're on your heels. You can put your butt against the wall first, and we're going to squat straight down. Okay, sit those hips straight down. Get as low as you can. Now I'm going to take my elbows, push my knees out, and now I'm going to flatten my upper back on the wall. Okay? And you're just holding this position. So this is the only movement that we're actually going to hold It's just a squat sit. So I'm actively pushing those knees out. Okay, I just don't want to sit here like this. I want to push those knees out, open up the hips. You're going to feel a stretch in the low back, especially when you try to put that upper back on the wall. Okay, a lot of people are going to be so tight, they're here. Okay, it's going to be very difficult for you to get flattened on the wall, but that's why you do this every single day. It's going to improve a little bit over time. So you just hold that position. For all of these different mobility movements, it's key that you hit them a minimum amount of time. So for the wall sit, at least 90 seconds. Work yourself up to 5 minutes. For the rack stretching, about 90 seconds per side. We can build up to 2 minutes per side. Same thing with the hip flexor and the big lunge, at least 90 seconds each side. And then for the shoulder dislocators, we're going about 15, 20 reps. All right, so there you go, your big 5 mobility drills. Use those every single day, especially if you're suffering with your ability to move efficiently. So your squats, lunges, overhead pressing type movements. If you're struggling with those, make sure you hit these up. These are the base 5 mobility drills. So make sure to hit those consistently and you will see results.